Now that we've kind of went over a few of the challenges of how we were living before and how that maybe didn't promote our greatest mental health or emotional health or even the right physical health, uh, I want to share kind of a story about how these things are playing out or how these challenges are kind of off from the way things are now. So the other day I was out working out, running around the block and all that kind of stuff, and I saw, let's say, three examples of how things were off. So I was jogging, and the first set, they're pretty much parents and children. So the first set of parent and child that I saw, there was a mother sitting down. Her kid is a boy, young boy, and he was playing with his little scooter, and he's having so much fun. And he's saying, "Oh, mom, look what I'm doing! Look at this cool trick!" And his mom was on the cell phone. So this shows you actually a disconnection between uh, the mother's need for immediate gratification doing something and the disconnection with her and her child. Although the child actually was pretty much screaming, "Mom, mom, mom, look!" And the mom was, looking at her phone, realized that children don't understand that there's anybody on the other side of the phone, and it just feels like neglect to them. So this is something to really pay attention to, that kids understand things in the way of energy, and if you're not focused on them and they're asking you, it doesn't feel real great. As it doesn't feel real great in adult life either, but to keep that in mind. So I continued jogging. Just around the other corner, I saw a father and his son. There's a lot of boys out actually, and his dad. Um, let's say not in the best shape, but out there being active with his son. And he wants his son to, I assume, embody some of the skills that he does not have. So it's like, come on, be motivated, keep pushing, because he wanted to give up pushing his scooter up the hill. And his dad's like, no, come on, keep going. You can do it. Remember at home, you pushed yourself through, so you can do it now. Again, this is a disparity between interaction with the child and interaction with himself. Kids generally always want to do what their parents do because that's kind of cool, and everybody wants to have a strong dad or a cool mom or vice versa. And when your child is actually not paying attention to you, this means that they've essentially learned that you're not that interesting. And in him just saying verbally to do that, that doesn't mean anything to the child. If he physically ran up the hill behind the kid or picked him up and ran him up and put him down and put him back at the bottom of the hill, this creates more physical interaction. The kids can see that, well, dad can do it, so I want to be able to do it too. You're leading by example. Another case I saw this was uh, a father trying to help his son ride the bike. And he's like, why can't you just believe that I'll make you safe and you won't fall and I'll take care of you? Who's more um, strong enough to make sure that you feel safe than your father? And although this was verbally encouraging, it doesn't play out the same way. If the child hasn't seen that you've been there throughout the time, kind of supporting, and that he's not going to have much um, in the way of just listening to those words. You have to physically interact with their world, and they always want to play, right? I could assume, with my experience, when you play with children and you say, "Oh, jump off the couch and I'll catch you," they don't really hesitate. They jump because it's fun and it's cool and it's something that happens. So that's another thing. The third example, I know it's getting a little long, but the third example was father and daughter. And this is probably the best example of uh, community and communication and bonding between the two. The father went out for the jog with the daughter. They stopped on the grass and they're doing cartwheels. And the daughter did a couple, wasn't quite sure about them. And the father was watching. And then the father started to exercise, started to do burpees. And the daughter slowly tied back her hair and put it up and started doing burpees with the father. And I thought this was wonderful. What a great connection that they have. And again, this is no fault to any of those people uh, that were having this kind of disconnection with the children or environment, because that is essentially how we were living life before. That's what happens to everybody. You will disconnect from your children in some way because it's just too many other things going on. You can't really be present and emotionally connected to every moment, and kids can feel annoying because you're trying to get other stuff done. So this just makes sense. But in this situation, they're very connected, they're playing with each other, And at some point, if I was going to say there's going to be a little improvement on this, because it was already really great, and I don't want to take away from that, uh, the daughter stopped doing the burpees. Now, children don't mind exercising, but exercising to children is play. So having a regimented movement is not that fun. So the ideal example is that you're going walking with your children. You really have nowhere else to be or anything else to do, and realize that there's going to be a lot of play breaks on this walk. They're going to want to adventure into the forest or play with leaves or show you something cool, and you want to interact. You want to accept their invitation to be a little bit more childlike, to be more fun and playful. And this is okay, and it's really good for you to embody yourself. So this is just a little story I wanted to tell to show you how the disconnections that we wouldn't be able to see before are very present in the way that things have changed. It's very easy to see if you're a little bit a step back from the situation. And this is something that I think we need to address a little bit more of as we go through promoting our mental health and our emotional health, because as good as we are as adults and parents, it's just as good as the next generation will be, because we are their role models.